The night was thick with silence, broken only by the hum of neon lights flickering above a half-broken street lamp. In a small corner of the bustling city, a boy named Ethan sat on the sidewalk, clutching a battered guitar with strings that had seen better days. His clothes were worn, his shoes had holes, and his face carried the kind of exhaustion no child should know. Yet, behind those tired eyes lay something extraordinary, something the world had yet to discover. Music was his only refuge. His mother had always told him, when life gets too heavy, sing, Ethan. Your voice will carry you further than your feet ever could. She had passed away years ago, and his father, crushed by grief and poverty, had drifted into silence, leaving Ethan to fend for himself. Still, Ethan never let go of her words. Every night, when the city slowed down and strangers passed by without a glance, he played. He played not for money, not for fame, but for the simple hope that his voice might bring a moment of peace to someone, even if that someone was just himself. One evening, as the autumn wind swept dry leaves across the street, a small crowd gathered around him. Ethan strummed the opening chords of a song he barely understood when he first learned it, a song older than him, filled with mystery, longing, and haunting beauty. It was Hotel California. His fingers trembled, but the moment his voice rose into the night, the world seemed to pause. People stopped walking. Conversations hushed. Car horns in the distance faded into nothing. His voice, raw, soulful, cracked in places yet impossibly powerful, wrapped around every heart that listened. For a boy who owned nothing, his gift was priceless. His voice wasn't just sound, it was emotion. It carried every hunger pang, every lonely night, every dream too fragile to touch. And it moved people in a way no one could explain. Among the listeners was a woman named Clara, a tourist from Los Angeles, who had been wandering the streets after a long day. She wasn't expecting to hear magic on a sidewalk. She wasn't expecting to cry. Yet as Ethan sang, tears ran down her cheeks. She had lost her brother years ago, and the song had been his favorite. Hearing Ethan sing, it felt like hearing her brother's voice return for a moment. She recorded him, unable to keep the moment to herself. That night, Clara uploaded the video to social media with the caption, "This poor boy's voice just stopped me in my tracks. Listen to him sing Hotel California. The world needs to hear this." She didn't expect much. Maybe a few friends would see it, maybe it would disappear into the endless sea of the internet. But by morning, the video had spread like wildfire. Tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, then millions of people around the world watched Ethan's trembling hand strum that broken guitar, and listened to a voice that carried more truth than any polished performance. News outlets picked it up. Poor boy's voice moves the world. Talk shows replayed the clip. Radio stations spoke about him. Strangers across countries shared his voice, writing comments like, "He sings with pain, but also with hope, and this boy reminds me of what humanity still has left, soul." Ethan didn't know any of this at first. He was just singing on the street, the same as every night, still invisible to those rushing past. It wasn't until a reporter approached him days later that he realized something extraordinary was happening. Cameras swarmed the street corner. Microphones were thrust into his face. For the first time in his life, the world wasn't walking past him, it was stopping for him. He was invited to a local television station to perform. Nervous, barefoot, and overwhelmed, Ethan stepped onto a stage brighter than any he had ever imagined. His heart pounded as he clutched the same battered guitar. The host asked, "Ethan, what would you like the world to know about you?" He swallowed hard. "I don't want people to know about me. I just want them to feel something when I sing. Because music saved me. And maybe it can save someone else too." Then he sang again, Hotel California. This time, his voice was steadier, braver, but still filled with that raw honesty that no training could ever teach. Millions watched live. Families held their breath. Strangers whispered his name across oceans. And when the final note faded, the audience rose to their feet, clapping, crying, cheering. Ethan's life began to change in ways he couldn't have dreamed. Music schools offered him scholarships. Charities reached out. Record labels sent representatives. But what touched him most wasn't the contracts or the fame, it was the letters. Thousands of letters poured in from across the globe. A soldier in Iraq wrote, "Your voice reminded me why I fight, to protect beauty like this." A widow in Italy wrote, "You sang the song my husband loved. I felt him with me again." A young girl battling cancer in New York wrote, "When I hear you sing, I don't feel afraid anymore." Ethan realized then, his voice wasn't his alone. It belonged to the world. But just as the tide of opportunity rose, so did the weight of responsibility. People wanted him to fit an image, to sing what they told him, to sign away his freedom for money he had never seen. For a boy who once sang only for peace, it was overwhelming. And for a moment, he thought of giving it all up. That was when Clara, the woman who first shared his video, came to see him again. She found him sitting backstage, staring at his guitar. "You look lost," she said gently. "I am," he admitted. "I don't know if I can do this. Everyone wants something from me. I just wanted to sing." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then sing. Not for them, not for me, not even for the world. Sing for the boy who sat on that sidewalk when no one listened. Sing for him. He deserves to be heard." Her words unlocked something in him. That night, Ethan walked onto one of the biggest stages in the world, an international concert, broadcast live. Millions waited. The lights dimmed. Silence filled the air. And then, with nothing but his voice and his old guitar, he began again. The opening chords of Hotel California echoed, but this time, it wasn't just a cover. It was a story. His story. Every lyric felt alive, painted with the colors of his struggle, his loneliness, his hope. His voice soared, cracked, and healed in the same breath. People wept. Families hugged. Soldiers saluted. The world listened, not to a poor boy anymore, but to a voice that had become a beacon of humanity. And when the final note hung in the air, something remarkable happened. The entire stadium, tens of thousands strong, sang the chorus with him. Voices from every race, every language, every walk of life blended together as one. For a few minutes, there were no borders, no politics, no differences, only music, only heart, only humanity. Ethan dropped his head, overwhelmed, tears streaming down his face. He had nothing once. Now he had everything, not in money, not in fame, but in the realization that he had moved the world, not by being perfect, but by being himself. After the concert, he spoke softly into the microphone. "I was just a poor boy with nothing but a song. And tonight, you've shown me that sometimes, the smallest voices can echo the loudest. If my mother were here, I'd tell her, you were right. My voice carried me. And it carried all of you too. Thank you." The audience erupted, but the real applause came from hearts across the globe. That night, millions went to sleep believing again, in kindness, in hope, in the unshakable truth that one person, no matter how small, can touch the world. Ethan never forgot his roots. He used his success to build music schools for children who, like him, had nothing but a dream. He visited hospitals, shelters, and orphanages, singing not for cameras, but for souls. Every performance was a reminder, the power of humanity lies not in wealth or status, but in the courage to share what little we have with the world. And so, the boy who once sang to an empty street corner became the voice that moved the world. His story became more than music, it became proof that hope can rise from the humblest places, that compassion can ripple across oceans, and that even in a world filled with noise, a single, honest voice can bring us all to silence.